Please be seated. Good morning to you all, and welcome to today's Winter Awards ceremony. And to all our students and awards recipients, this is our university's moment to celebrate your achievements as graduates. And I trust that your family and friends, some of whom no doubt have travelled far distances, long distances, to be with you, can share our pride in your success. And as you reflect on your time at the university, I hope you feel that you have made the most of what we offer, whether that be the academic and research facilities or the wide variety of activities through the university's societies and clubs, or perhaps the opportunity to engage with the wider community of Bath. And whichever, I hope that you have forged good and, with luck, long-lasting friendships, as well as many happy memories. There are many ways in which our university and students impact on the wider society. And although it's perhaps in the sporting arena where we often attract the most immediate attention, and as momentum builds for the 2016 Rio Olympic and Paralympic Games, athletes, coaches, researchers and students will convene at the university in January for a sports performance conference to build stronger links between the latest sports science research from around the world with athletes' performances on the pitch. The conference will consider how physiology, nutrition, coaching, education, psychology, if I better put that in for the Vice-Chancellor, and talent spotting all go together to impact on individual team and team performance across a range of sports. A piece of research by our Department of Health has found that stirring table sugar into a water bottle before a big physical event could be the difference between success and failure. In essence, it appears combining different sources of sugars improves the rate at which we can absorb these from the gut and prevent fatigue. And researchers have found that glucose-only sports performance drinks designed to provide energy during exercise could provide gut discomfort. And suggest those using sucrose, or a mixture of glucose and fructose, can help make exercise easier, or just put sugar in water. Now, I don't know about you, but I actually find it works quite well in tea and coffee as well, but don't tell researchers that. So. Now, our Department of Mechanical Engineering, I notice, has been very busy. And it's leading a proposal to develop a world-class automotive research centre in the Bristol and Bath Science Park to create a new breed of electric and hybrid vehicles. And meanwhile, the Smart Materials and Structures Group is leading a consortium of 14 European partners in a new European Commission project to develop composite materials technology fundamental to current and future aircraft structures to improve weight, fuel efficiency, and reduce CO2 emissions. I do hope there are no nervous flyers in here. Are there any nervous flyers in here? You better not listen to the next bit. Because the vulnerability of composite structures, I love this phrase, to dynamic, sudden and unexpected loads may result in unpredictable, complex, localized damage and a loss of post-impact residual strength. Doesn't sound very good, does it really? I don't know about you. But please don't worry, because in this university, we are the leaders in the field of advanced damage characterization and failure modeling in Europe. Do you feel any safer for that? I hope you do. Anyway, so back on terra firma, but staying with a mechanical engineering graduate has designed and is now manufacturing an ingeniously simple solution for farmers, especially in Africa, struggling to earn a living simply through a lack of water. And weighing just 2.5 kilograms, David Hutton's Flexi Pump is able to pump water from 6 meters below the ground and then pump it another 10 meters above or 100 meters along the ground, thus allowing farmers to pump up to 1,600 litres an hour and irrigate a quarter of an acre increasing their crop yield, feeding their family, and ultimately earning a greater income. And we wish David the very best of luck with that particular invention. Now, finally, anyone who has bamboo growing in their garden will know that it's pretty invasive, grows rapidly, but does have its uses. However, there is one form of tropical bamboo, Graduand angustifolia, which grows up to 85 feet in height and 8 inches in diameter, and reaches maturity within 4 years. And this giant bamboo is capable of absorbing 6 times more CO2 than oak over a 50-year period, and is a rapid growth renewable resource, is comparable to timber and steel as a construction material, and as such can prevent rainforest deforestation as it offers an ideal alternative to tropical hardwoods. And one of our PhD students from the Department of Architecture and Civil Engineering has devised an innovative system to convert the typically awkward cylindrical bamboo into flat, cross-laminated panels, making them easier to specify in building, more durable, and could potentially be used as the main structural support in multi-story buildings. And it just so happens that Hector Aquiles Santos from Colombia, an aptly titled World Bamboo Ambassador, is that student and will be graduating later today. Right, now that's the end of the news and little items for you to store away and take away about what the university is doing. But I'm sure that today's graduates will join me in thanking all those who have provided guidance, help and support during their time here. And I pay particular tribute to the staff in our academic departments, schools and partner colleges who fill students with enthusiasm for their subjects, and especially acknowledge the role of all the other members of our community whose contribution is essential to our continued success. And so now it's time to take the next step in your chosen careers. And whatever you choose to do, we wish you the very best of luck and that you put everything you have learned here to excellent use. We will continue to watch your careers with interest, and in turn, I hope you will take more than just a passing interest in the fortunes of this university. In spite of its relative youthfulness, Bath has established itself as a major player in this country, and I believe a popular place to study and research. And I also sense that we have the potential to achieve more. Our challenge is to build our international reputation and establish more multinational research links. But as graduates ready to face the world, you embody that potential and the feeling of optimism it brings. I trust that when and if the opportunity arises, you'll feel able to put in a good word for us. And with that thought, I wish all our graduates today every success in the future, wherever that leads you. And my final and most pleasing duty is to commend this morning's honorary graduand, Mr. Justin Webb, who will be accepting the honorary degree of Doctor of Letters today in recognition of his distinguished contributions to journalism and broadcasting. I now declare this congregation open for the presentation of graduates and for the conferment of honorary degrees.
Chancellor, I present graduates in the School of Management who have been awarded taught degrees. Will the graduates please rise?
By the authority vested in me, I confer upon you a degree of the University of Bath with all the rights, privileges and responsibilities pertaining thereto.
Will the graduates please be seated? Chancellor, I present graduates who have been awarded the degree of Bachelor of Science. Will the graduates please come forward to be presented to the Chancellor and to receive their degree certificates? Bachelor of Science in Accounting and Finance, Wei Ping Ip. Wen Yi Su. It's such an exciting day to watch people cross the stage, but at this university what we generally do is applaud at the end of each category of degree or after prize winners. So take your lead from my clapping hands and we will do this together. Chancellor, I present graduates who have been awarded the degree of Master of Science. Will the graduates please come forward to be presented to the Chancellor and to receive their degree certificates? Master of Science in Accounting and Finance, Xing Gen. Chung Chung Jia. Demetrius Karkanevatos. Anna Castellorizzo. Jingyue Liu. Margarita Matseva. Anna Tutsi. Ting Ting Yang. Man Jiang. Master of Science in Advanced Management Practice, Bruno Becerra Monte. Tak Young Chang. Siddharth Challa. Shangyang Do. Jing Yang Fang. Catalina Franco Victoria. Joshua Terence Gape. Osamu Hashizume. Xiao Huang. Michelle Karimi Karina. Mang Hui Ku. Bing Bing Liang. Claire Michelle Mansell. Dev Mukesh Maru. Valerini Masura. Maria Elena Mavromatou. Diego Marilas Perez. Emily Naseby Odin. Moyo Sori Olua Oibola Oilade. Olisa Pal. Pui Ron Jasmine Pang. Uvashi Rajesh Rupani. Pankaj Ramesh Shukla. Alistair Trim Jones. Master of Science in Entrepreneurship and Management. Dhruva Setu Madhavan. Ulu Watayo Adesanya. Manvi Chowdhury. Hui Deng. Thomas Chung Hu. Pichiana Ititanavatana. Propum Kasim Thongstri. Julia Kemp. Alexandra Kachovilova. Yanorat Lektrak Ulche. And Jana Schremser, winner of the Dinsdale Prize. Mile Ta. Aurelie Wiebal. Master of Science in Finance. Chanapa Anangpong Soak. Bundiva Chiwatragungit. Yinghua Huong. Lars Gunnar Jonsson. Soradis Limpikal. Sahai Leo. Hai Ming Zhang. Master of Science in Finance with Banking. Iraklis Tatsis. Guyan Wang. Master of Science in Finance with Risk Management. Alexandros Skoutos. Jingweng Liu. Ya Jion Song. Wen Shou Zhang. Master of Science in Human Resource Management and Consulting, Fahad Abdulaziz Al-Rumey. Laura Bedma Sanchez. Sirikul Chiwaka Oset. Abba Ashish Dandekar. Michaelis Gavrielides. Claire Angeli Geeky. Nadapon Hawaii Krodwatana. Jing Ling Ling. Shulu. Jalisa Naruthep. Pim Charnok Noikong. K.I. Tong Pafan. Tony Pangia. Arin Ized Ibrahim Katesh. Yan Shen. Shruti Shukani. Katika Tipayeli. Yung Ting Tsiyai. Meng Wei Wang. Master of Science in Innovation and Technology Management, Edward de Petrucci. Sonal Pradeep Gondalekar. Tanya Ivanova Halova. Shao Shuan Huang. Sira Kem Tong. Zhou Yu Ma. Adil Akram Malik. Thomas Robert John Mather. Christo Konstantinov Biv. And Falk Schneider, winner of the BP Prize. And Katarzyna Sheterba, also winner of the BP Prize. Sheng Yu Chai. Nortog. And Vivian Sarah Carlotta Dong. Master of Science in International Management. Nabil Abbasi. Nikhil Agarwal. Emily Marie Ayton. Mia Ahmed Shokri Beshra. Ankita Bosinka. Wengting Kai. Erong Kui Pang Cheng. Sasipon Chinthamit. Stefano Gia Rambino. William George David Clifford. Juliette Eloise Marie de Netancourt. Kian Dowdall. James Edward Drury. Siri Chai Ekaviri Akit. Johnny Eliasson. Jonathan Freeman. Or Cecilia Gonzalez Ruiz. Alay Bahavin Gore. Wenji Gu. Gokul Kapoor. Vikramjit Singh Sudev Sinkaria. Frederick Gibbscard. Mohammed Tariq Latif. Marianne Alexandre Levillain. Shiadi Lee. Nicholas Lonert. Monrutai Manasuth. Govinda Sunil Nasali. And Fong Thao Nguyen, winner of the L'Oreal Prize. Maxim Nishchik. Ebunulua Efangemi Abiola Olayenka. Akshay Jitendra Parai Ani. Ulrika Pavelek. Barbara Rabayani Gilmit. Prajani Roy. Punyapon Rangsong. Priyanka Rajesh Shah. Ying Yishen. Chloe Elizabeth Smith. Mohit Ramesh Sontarlia. Rosarin Stitwitia. Zhao Sha Son. Panagiotis Timotheatos. Yong Li Wang. Ferran Wu. Shananit Zuto. Qi Zhang. Wei Jianzhu. And Joanna Renata Zelinska. Master of Science in Sustainability and Management. Irene Elizabeth Bahoun, who is also the winner of the Zurich Prize for Best Overall Student on the MSc Sustainability and Management. Julian Niklas Klocker. King Lok Kingsley K.O. Simon Oldham. Anna Stober. Nida Frederica von Mallinckrodt. Shi Hin Wu.
So I now call upon the University Orator to present the candidate for a degree honoris causa.
Chancellor, it is my great pleasure to introduce Justin Webb, journalist, author, broadcaster and campaigner who has worked for the BBC in a variety of roles for over 20 years. Justin grew up in Bath and his early education was at Sidcott School in North Somerset, one of 9 Quaker schools in the United Kingdom. Even from a young age, it was clear that Justin was destined for great things when he secured his position in the school's history by winning the Diamond Speech Competition a record 3 times, an achievement yet to be matched. Justin went on to read economics at the LSE, honing his journalism skills as editor of the student newspaper, The Beaver. Justin is married to Sarah and they have 3 children, twins Martha and Sam, and their youngest daughter, Clara. Justin's distinguished career began in 1984 in Belfast as a BBC graduate trainee on the programme Good Morning Ulster. Justin then took up a role as a reporter on the BBC Radio 4 Today programme, before working as a foreign affairs correspondent, covering many significant events around the world, including the Gulf War, the war in Bosnia, the collapse of the Soviet Union, and the first democratic elections in South Africa. Justin went on to become a BBC news presenter becoming accustomed to early morning wake-up calls as the main presenter of BBC One's Breakfast News from 1992 to 1997. He also presented the BBC's 1 o'clock and 6 o'clock news bulletins and the BBC Radio 4's The World Tonight. This was followed by 3 years as the BBC's European correspondent based in Brussels, reporting on the workings of the European Parliament, the introduction of the single currency, and the enlargement of the European Union. However, the lure of greater things tempted Justin to move to the United States in 2001 to become the BBC's chief Washington correspondent in a particularly tumultuous period. In December 2007, he became North American editor for BBC News, a newly created role intended to cover the 2008 US presidential election, and one which saw him named Political Journalist of the Year for his coverage of the Obama campaign. Justin's relationship with the United States, however, went much further than merely journalism. He has written no less than 3 widely acclaimed books on the rich tapestry of life in the United States, taking on the mantle of Alistair Cooke for the 21st century, a kind of Bill Bryson in reverse. Towards the end of Justin's time in the United States, his son Sam, who was 8 at the time, was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. In the United Kingdom, there are 300,000 sufferers, and the number of children under 5 developing the disease has risen 5-fold in the past 20 years. No one knows why. And once it appears, it never leaves. Being diagnosed was a life-changing experience for Sam and the rest of the family, and Justin has campaigned since to raise awareness and understanding of the disease through interviews, a BBC World Service radio documentary, and by raising money for research. In 2009, Justin returned to the United Kingdom and the lure of 3 a.m. wake-up calls to become a presenter on Radio 4's flagship Today programme. Nearly 7 million people tune in to the programme, which not only plays an important part in the national conversation, but is one of the most listened to and loved radio shows in the United Kingdom, acclaimed for its analysis of current affairs and its in-depth, probing, and sometimes combative interviews. More locally, Justin was named as the inaugural patron of Bath Rugby Charity Foundation in 2014 and was a panel member of this year's Bath Literature Festival, debating the topic of the American dream. Chancellor, I present to you Justin Webb, who is eminently worthy to receive the degree of Doctor of Letters Honoris Causa.
Thank you very much. I can't do without that. Very good. So, by virtue of the authority vested in me, I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Letters, Honoris Causa.
Your Royal Highness, my lords, ladies and gentlemen, what an extraordinary honour for me, but more importantly, what a day for all of you. And I will speak just very, very briefly, and perhaps slightly subversively, if I may, to you this morning, or indeed is it afternoon? It is afternoon. And I want to say this. Yes, it matters, this degree business. You have all put enormous amount of work into it. Your parents have put work into you getting to this day, and my goodness, it'll make a difference for you in your future life. But what also matters is what you do with it and how you cope with the crises and difficulties and opportunities that present themselves to you now. We are here a pretty multicultural group, and I imagine a lot of people here were very delighted when Barack Obama came to power in the United States in 2008. And there were lots of adulatory headlines around the world. One headline, though, I thought rather summed up the ambivalent moment that in some respects that was. And it was a headline in The Onion, the satirical newsletter in the United States. And their headline was, "Black man given nation's worst job." You never know, do you? You never know. You think you've got to the very top position. You think you have won and earned your degree, and then there is a whole lot of new problems that you invite upon yourself by getting to that position. And the challenge now for all of you is using your degree and using the things that come alongside your degree, your humanity, your abilities, your wider abilities, not just your academic ones. It was said of Ronald Reagan, who was another American president who many people were delighted when he came to power in very different circumstances, but it was said of him that he was a great communicator. But he learnt the art on the hoof. When he first started in politics, he wanted to be mayor of a small town in California, and he went out with his people to the local park, and you start small scale in politics, and this was Ronald Reagan. Nobody much had heard of him, starting small scale. And there was a man in the park on a bench, and they went up to the man on the bench, and he said, "Hello, my name's Ronald Reagan. I'm standing for mayor of this small town. I hope I can count on your support." And the man said, "What are you going to do about them ducks?" And Reagan looked around, and there were ducks wandering around the park. And he said, "Sir, I will pen up those ducks. Those ducks will no longer bother you." And the man said, "Well, you're not getting my vote. I love them ducks. I want them to be roaming free around the park." So Reagan thought, "Oh dear," and his people who were with him thought, "That's not going very well." They went to the next park bench. There was another man. And Reagan said, "My name's Ronald Reagan. Hope you can support me. I want to be mayor of this small town." And the man said, "What are you going to do about them ducks?" And Reagan said, "Sir, I will let them run free. Those ducks are part of the flora and fauna of this park. We're just going to have them running." The man said, "You're not getting my vote. I'd shoot them." He said, "I can't stand them ducks. I want them penned up." Now, at this stage, many people would have given up. And Reagan's helpers wanted him to give up. But he didn't, because there was a third man on a third park bench. And Reagan, to the surprise of his helpers, I think, strode up to this man and said, "The name's Ronald Reagan, hoping to be mayor of this small town. Hope I can count on your support." And the man said, "What are you going to do about them ducks?" And Ronald Reagan seized the man by both shoulders and said, "Sir, on the subject of the ducks, I'm with you." Now, that isn't the kind of thing you learn in a degree. That ability to think on your feet, to persuade people, to cajole people, but also, when it's necessary, to be led by people. Those are things that come to you during the course of your life, but they're all skills that you can hone now. And those are the skills that can turn your degree and your learning and all the success that is deservedly being celebrated today into something that can be really, really useful for you. And there are different styles. We're not all Ronald Reagans. Barack Obama, who I interviewed in 2009, a professorial man. It's nice to be in a place where you can say professorial and you're not saying it to saying, well, yeah. No, professorial in all the good senses of professorial. When I interviewed him, I sat down with him, and you get that second or two when you're with a famous person, when your knees are slightly close together as they're sorting out the lights and the camera angles and all the rest of it, and you've got to think of something to say to them just before you start the interview. And I thought I would mention, actually, type 1 diabetes, because my son's diagnosis, which is quite a shock to a family, there may well be people here who are affected by it, it is quite a shock when it first happens. And Obama had mentioned type 1 diabetes in a speech just before. The president, the newly elected president of the United States, mentioning this terribly unusual condition. So I thought I'll talk to him about that. And I said, Mr. President, can I just say first, I'm delighted that you mentioned type 1 diabetes. It means so much to me because our family's been quite badly affected, etc., etc. And he was exactly as you'd expect. He was professorial. He knew everything about it. He knew the pathways to a cure. He knew the best hospitals. He knew the universities where research was being done on it. But there was something sort of slightly absent. And I was thinking back to George Bush, who, let's face it, was less academically starred than Obama, but had that ability to make connections. And I was thinking, if it had been W, we'd have been down on our knees together. Our tears would have mingled. He wouldn't have had the foggiest idea what type 1 diabetes was, but he would have had an approach, a way of making me feel that this was important to him. The last time I interviewed W, by the way, we came to the end of the interview and he said, "How was that for you, Justin? Did you like that?" And I said, "Yes, wonderful. Thank you very much, Mr. President." He said, "Would you like to see the Oval Office before you go?" And I said, "Yes, I'd love to." And we went to the Oval Office. "Would you like to see the Rose Garden?" And we went to the Rose Garden. "Would you like to see the library corridor?" And we went down to the library corridor. And I actually found myself saying to the President of the United States, "Look, I'm terribly sorry, but I've actually got to be somewhere else." And you don't get that with Obama, and it doesn't matter. Both found ways of using their abilities, their academic skills, and all the other things that happened in their early lives, using them to good effect, using them to good personal effect, and also using them, equally importantly, in a way that impacted positively on people around them. That is the key. And I want to leave you with one particular message, given my background and my work, which is enormously important, I think, in the modern world, and which will have occurred to a lot of you already, but is so difficult and is something you're going to have to grapple with. We live in a world in which communications, social media, and the rest are increasingly brutal. We have lost, in many respects, and they've certainly in some respects in America, lost the ability to talk to each other in a respectful way about matters of public life. And we have particularly, in the media, I think, bear a responsibility for that, though I don't think the fault is only ours, but we started the process when we started cutting down people's contributions into these things called sound bites. John Major, the former British Prime Minister, tells us the horrendous story of going to Russia when Boris Yeltsin was the president in Russia. And they had their formal talks in the morning and they were going through to lunch. And Major turned to Yeltsin and thought, "I'd better make conversation with him," and said through the translator, "In a word, Boris, what is the state of your country?" To which Yeltsin replied, "In a word, good." And Major was horrified because actually at that time Russia was in a very, very calamitous state. There were people starving in the streets. It was really, really difficult in the early 90s there. And Major felt that he'd been made to look a bit of an idiot, really, in front of all his civil servants. So he turned back to Yeltsin as they were about to sit down for lunch and said, "Boris, what is the longer version of that?" To which Yeltsin replied, "Not good." Now, yes, think about it. The soundbite, the problem of the soundbite, which we began in the media, but which has now become a thing that potentially, I think, destroys our ability to speak to each other about serious events. And I think one of the great responsibilities on your generation, who'd ever thought they'd get old enough to say that to another group of people? I still think of myself as your age. But anyway, of your generation, is to find a way when you, as you all will do, enter public life, whether it's professionally or whether it's in politics or wherever it is, when you begin to use your learning, it's a matter of finding a way of being respectful and inclusive in the conversations that you have. There was a great American senator many years ago who said to the American people, "You are entitled as Americans to your own opinions, but you are not entitled to your own facts." And I hope you go out from here with all the learning that you have and say in a still, calm, but certain voice to everyone, actually there are things called facts. We can disagree on what they are, we can argue about their relevance, but we have studied long enough to know that there are still, even in this maelstrom of social media, some things that are true, and we hold true to them. Many congratulations, and thank you very much.
Thank you. I now declare this congregation closed for the presentation of graduates and for the conferment of honorary degrees.